30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
Quick question. How many calls, texts, or messages does your business miss every week? Nights, weekends, busy days. That's lost money. Create Assistance helps businesses fix that problem using AI employees that answer calls, respond to texts, book appointments, and follow up with leads 24/7 automatically. No extra staff, no complicated software. Everything runs inside one simple command center that replaces scattered tools, missed follow-ups, and manual busywork. Whether you're a service business, office, or multi-location company, Create Assistance keeps your business responsive, organized, and running even when you're off the clock. Stop letting leads slip through the cracks. Visit createassistance.ai to book a free call. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
It was the Roman poet Virgil who said, "Easy is the descent to hell. All night long, all day, the doors of dark Hades stand open. But to retrace the path, to come out again to the sweet air of heaven, there is the task, there is the burden. If I cannot move heaven, I will raise hell." We'll talk about that later, but now it's time for Rick Tittle and titillating sports on Sports Byline USA. All right, thank you for that, and welcome to another live edition of Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle, enunciating my T's on a Thursday, as they say in Ireland. There'll be a film on Ramel Desert Fox on Thursday. Too dirty. That's the one I hate, is dirty. What time is it? Too dirty. You're too dirty with your dirty mouth. 1-800-8. Yeah, I said 1-800-878-PLAY. That is the number to call. 1-800-878-529. Football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, tennis, auto racing, boxing, Olympic, Quidditch, volleyball, chess, checkers, rugby, cricket, that type of stuff. Let's get it on in and get heard. The I almost said Oakland. The Las Vegas Raiders signed Kirk Cousins to be the backup, the mentor, the insurance policy, hopefully not the starter, but a veteran quarterback, Mr. You Like That. And so now Vegas will have two quarterbacks that don't drink. But do you really drink during the season anyway? Maybe not. But there could be a God squad. You know, a lot of these places have chaplains, and they'll have mass, and sometimes they'll pray en masse. Just kind of a generic Christian praying circle. That's always encouraged. The other religions, people go, what's going on? All right, we have guests. We have an author that's going to join us in the second hour about running. We're also going to talk about a new skating sport. I've been introing a lot of new sports lately, like padel and tiptee and ones. There's a new thing called Synchro 9. I know. James Bond needs to find the formula for Synchro 9 before the KGB gets it. Tune in at iHeartRadio app, Stitcher app, YouTube TV, Twitch.tv. Come on back.
At Bank of America, we're proud that more than 20,000 veterans and people with military backgrounds have joined our ranks since 2015. Now we're committed to adding 10,000 more over the next 5 years. By helping veterans achieve their career goals, we're moving initiation to action, and together helping expand economic opportunity across America. Visit bankofamerica.com/great place to work. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
Alert for consumers struggling to pay taxes. There are new tax regulations, not published yet. We have the inside track on your new tax savings. These programs are designed to help struggling taxpayers like you. The COVID relief programs are gone, but there are new programs to help struggling taxpayers. And we have the inside track. Call now, and we'll take you through new programs. These taxpayer savings programs have never been available until now. Get out of tax trouble now. It doesn't take weeks. It can happen in one phone call. Call now and get the inside track to get rid of your tax problems.
Call the tax helpline now. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. That's 800-949-0039.
If you've got a property that you've been trying to sell, you've tried almost everything, I want to tell you about something that you haven't tried yet. You're going to think this offer is too good to be true, but it's not. Thousands of customers have sold their homes in any condition with Need to Sell My Home. This is a real opportunity from a highly rated company that buys homes all over the country. Did you know it's possible to sell your home right over the phone with no real estate commissions and no pesky open houses? Plus, every offer is a cash offer with no mortgage holdups. To find out how much you can sell your home or property for, call now. Take 5 minutes of your time and call for this 100% free quote to sell your home.
800-430-0674. 800-430-0674. 800-430-0674. That's 800-430-0674.
Now at Staples. Find hot deals on HP, America's most trusted printer brand. Whether you need to print invoices or eye-catching presentations, HP delivers with exceptional speed, reliability, and vibrant color. And with HP, replenishing ink is simple. Find HP ink cartridges in-store at Staples or subscribe to HP Instant Ink and never worry about running out. And right now with Home and Office hot deals at Staples, you can save up to $150 on select HP printers through February 1st.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is genius. Best show ever. He's so wonderful. Genius. The best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome. He's a genius.
You're now listening to the Rick Tittle Show. Good for you.
Then we are underway. Come on in and get heard. As I mentioned there, right at the break, I'm on YouTube TV and also Twitch TV. You can check me out talking to Mike with Readers, the Oakland Readers. Speaking of the Raiders, the top headline nationally right now is the fact that the Raiders are signing Kirk Cousins to a contract. 1 year, $20 million. Huh? Cousins gets the minimum salary of $1.3 million, and then he gets a roster bonus of $1 million, and the rest of the money is paid out by the Falcons. So it looked like just half will be paid by Fontenot, the GM since drafted Penix in the first round out of Washington, and then took Cousins as a free agent. First of all, big money, and drafted, which was very confusing, even to his boss, Arthur Blank, at the time. So, as I mentioned, Cousins is going to be a mentor instead of AOC. I can't tell you how. And look, I got nothing against Aiden O'Connell. Tried hard. He was a late bloomer. He was kind of a dark horse. He can. I said at the time he can thank Brock Purdy and every other late round pick where someone's like, "What if this is the next Brock Purdy?" And he wasn't horrifying, but he's not an NFL starting quarterback in any way. And it was always funny when people would say, I think AOC, they'll just give him the job. We saw enough of that. So AOC will not be his mentor. It'll be Kirk Cousins. Now, Clint Kubiak knows him very well. He worked with him in Minnesota. For 3 years. Dad, you coming for dinner? Kubiak said, ideally, you don't. Now, this is back. Yesterday, Mendoza had his pro day. And most Raider fans like the fact that they showed him throw a 50-yard bomb on a post. Of course, no defenders, and there's no one's rushing, no one's guarding the receiver. Why would you? Kubiak, the new head coach, said, ideally, you don't want him to start from day one. You'd love him to be able to learn somebody. That's in a perfect world. It doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes they have to play from day one. It's our job as coaches to get them ready to go. I think it helps the player if they can sit behind a mature adult and watch how they run the show. Well, that's the guy they have now. After he said that, it was merely hours, less than 24, that Cousins was signed up. And it's a familiarity there, which I think is good. We know if the other guy thought the other one was an SOB, they wouldn't have signed. If they didn't like him, his talent, they would sign the player. If the player didn't like the coach, he wouldn't come in. He didn't like his ideas, his practices, his philosophies on football, things like that. And if you're a Raider fan, the ideal situation is the Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes situation. Patrick wasn't one overall, but they did move up in the first round to get Patrick Mahomes. The smartest trade they've ever made in their franchise's history. I don't remember what they gave up, but they moved up a couple spots, probably flopped number ones and threw in a 2 or a 3 somewhere. But the fact of the matter is that was the right move, and Alex Smith was the adult in the building, so to speak. And it wasn't long before you had the starter there. Now, the Raiders, last time they tried this, they signed Matt Shaw, and Derek Carr was supposed to sit behind him. But in camp, Derek Carr was great, and I was at that camp, and Matt Schaub was horrible. So the Raiders weren't that dumb. They were like, why don't we play the guy who's good and not play the guy who's not good, right? So, the thing is, if there's any quarterback that would be cool with this, at least on the outside, it's Mendoza. I don't even have to go online to see his reaction if he has posted anything, or I should say the media's posting anything. He's like, "Oh, this is going to be perfect, so great." And on the other hand, too, I mean, your competitive juices, you're like, man, I thought I was starting from day one. But on the other hand, you're like, I just got a huge soft landing there because now I don't have to start from day one. And now I can watch how every single player in the NFL is a former All-American. This isn't like playing Purdue. This is playing every best guy in my conference. So no matter how good you are, that's always a transition. And, this is a guy who's going into his 15th year in Kirk Cousins' league. He's been a starter for 10 of those seasons. Remember, I don't know what was going on in Washington when they took RG3 and they gave all their picks to the Rams to get RG3. But later on, they were like, why don't we take Kirk Cousins too? And 6 years with the Vikings, and he tore his Achilles. Then when he got healthy, he signed that big deal with Atlanta and got benched. And Atlanta's so happy about Michael Penix, they signed Tua Tagovailoa. In other words, not that happy with him. The games that he did play in Atlanta, Cousins completed 60% of his passes, 10 touchdowns, and 5 picks. Those aren't Pro Bowl numbers, but those are glowing numbers if you think about Geno Smith or Gardner Minshew. So the Raiders now have options, and they have two pretty good options. They start the number 1 overall pick because he was phenomenal in camp, or you start a savvy vet who's a former Pro Bowler who basically has thrown for 4,000 yards every season he's stayed healthy. And that's an option, because the other option was Mendoza starts day one. You don't say, we're going to let Aiden O'Connell have a couple of starts. No. He was like, why did we draft him then? You can't beat out Aiden O'Connell. What a waste of a... And so with the addition of Linderbaum and some very aggressive defensive players and the Max Crosby thing, hopefully serendipitously, as that fell through in Baltimore, that Crosby will be able to stay healthy and give Raider fans, maybe 15 sacks instead of the normal 10. Things are looking good, but you got to remember too, and I hate saying this because the Raiders aren't the Jets, but they kind of are. In other words, no matter what they do, it all goes pear-shaped. How many times have the Jets been like, we've figured it out? Aaron Rodgers. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Ow, my Achilles. Oh, what happened? Yeah. So, as a Raider fan, I like it. I'm not doing cartwheels, but I like it. And, as people kept saying, they still have money to spend. How do you spend that money? I think they have spent it very well. They got one of the two centers in football, along with Creed Humphrey. They got him. They've to anchor a line from the inside out. Normally you do it from the left tackle, and then you go down the line to right tackle to center, then the guards. But they have spent the money, I think, about as wisely as they could. And, none of this matters until they play. But right now, it looks kind of nice. All right, I'm Rick Tittle. We'll come on back with Tatiana Velez-Burgos right here.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will increase, and your plan cannot be canceled regardless of your medical conditions as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? Most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there secure contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it. It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Call now. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. That's 800-605-1680.
If you're serious about investing in gold or silver, Allegiance Gold will give you an additional $5,000 in free gold to add to your portfolio. They can help you buy any amount of gold or silver, even roll over your current IRA into gold. They've helped thousands invest millions in gold over the years, with prices that are some of the best in the industry, with fees that are fair, reasonable, and transparent. Protect your wealth with gold. Save on your gold or silver pricing when you buy from the top-rated Allegiance Gold. Invest in gold or silver today by calling Allegiance for your free gold guide. And learn about the $5,000 free gold offer with qualified purchase. Call now.
800-413-1937. 800-413-1937. 800-413-1937. That's 800-413-1937.
I honestly just got the chills as you described it again for me.
You must be crazy. Use a DOG. And if you was my man, I would have been kicked you out of my house by now. This is what happened.
All right, thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It's our pleasure to be joined by sports dietitian Tatiana Velez-Burgos, and she is here on behalf of Chobani. They have partnered to have an initiative for youth soccer entitled Feed the Dream. And Tatiana, welcome to the show. And I think a lot of times youth soccer, people just think, all right, we'll give them orange slices at halftime. We can do a little bit better than that, can't we?
Yes, we can, by far.
Well, tell us more about the initiative, please.
Yes, of course. As you know, the World Cup is coming up. So a lot of kids and parents are trying to actually engage. As a sports dietitian myself, I know how important nutrition is, not only to keep athletes on the field, but also help them develop in their sport. As the official nutrition partner of U.S. Soccer, Chobani launched Feed the Dream, a nationwide effort to expand access to the sport while helping kids and families better understand how nutrition supports performance and recovery.
It sounds like you're calling me from the Artemis too, but we'll try to we'll try and get through this. What does this mean for families and the communities right now with this?
It's actually a number one limitation in the sport, which is access. Through Feed the Dream initiative, Chobani is making a $5 million investment to support 500 youth soccer teams, and that will help offset costs and expand opportunities for kids to participate in the sport. You can even scan the QR code on a new limited edition packaging to vote for your own local youth soccer team for the chance for them to win $10,000 package that includes funding and equipment.
So for parents and coaches, what does fueling properly look? Because I remember when I played high school football, they would tell us, eat a candy bar before the game, and then you'll get a sugar rush. And those were the old days. What are we doing now?
It's much different now. Usually what I I tell parents and coaches, just keep it simple. Your body before activity does need energy, and you can find it in foods with carbohydrates, something like fruit and even like a fruit smoothie. However, like after activity, your body also needs to recover, so you need to pair carbohydrates with a protein source. So you can use Chobani Greek yogurt and fruit, for example. Chobani and U.S. Soccer Forward Foundation actually created a practical nutrition playbook that gives coaches simple tools to help young athletes learn how to fuel their bodies, play strong and healthy.
And you, of course, with the World Cup coming up and, Mexico, Canada, and right here in the United States, we've automatically qualified as host nations, and you've got some big stars. In fact, two guys who play in Serie A as Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie. Huh?
Yes, we have players like Christian Pulisic, Sophia Wilson, Weston McKennie that are bringing it to life, showing that what it takes to perform at the highest level, and that also includes how they feel their bodies on and off the field. And they set an amazing example to young kids and parents who are looking to incorporate healthier nutrition habits into their diet.
Tell us about Fuel Labs. It's something that I love, the ambition that you ended up. You were the founder of that business. What do you? What's your goal there?
Yeah, through Fuel Labs is a project that we're actually creating nutrition curriculum for sports academies and development organizations. We're also working with nonprofit school teams and academies. So youth teams that don't have a dietitian actually have a base and standardized nutrition education.
Okay, and so for more information, where do we go?
Yeah, to learn more about the initiative, you can go to chobani.com/soccer. There you can vote for your local youth soccer team. You can download the nutrition guide for coaches, and you can enter the U.S. Soccer Suites.
That's sports dietitian Tatiana Velez-Burgos on behalf of Fuel Labs and Chobani. Thanks for your time, Tatiana.
Thank you, Rick.
All right. And, man, what a brutal connection that one was. It sounded like she was on her way to the moon. But anyway, we understood her, and that's the important thing. 1-800-878-PLAY. You know, one of the things that you want to do, just speaking of soccer here, there's a couple minutes here. One of the things you want to do is you want to have good vibes. Well, really, with any sport. But I think about the tremendous vibes that the USA had before the World Cup in '94. And it's bizarre to think of that team now being better than the one we have now. And I love the Kearney boys from Kearney, New Jersey, or as we would say out here, Kearney. That was Tab Ramos and John Harkes and those guys. Tony Miola was part of that setup in Jersey. Then you think about the guys from Fremont, California, like John Doyle and Dominic Kinnear. Dominic Kinnear, whose father was from Scotland, he could have played for them if he felt like it. Why is that team better than this one? But the that's going on in Italy right now. The head of the Italian FA has resigned, as he should. Gattuso, the head coach, hasn't quit yet, but he probably will. But I saw a Italian soccer pundit who follows Serie A, or the A series. That's the big league in Italy, Serie A. And when I first started following soccer closely, that was the best league in the world. If you were good in any European country, even England, you went to Serie A. And outside of a few teams, there was Barcelona and Real Madrid. You know, you still had your Liverpools and Manchester Uniteds, but Ajax was huge. Bayern Munich was huge. But as a league, Serie A was it. And I heard this gentleman say something that when he said it, it shocked me. He said the Italian national team in that last game against Bosnia had no world-class outfield players. And I thought, oh my gosh, he's right. An outfield player means non-goalie, because Donnarumma is a world-class goalie. And so I started looking at the lineups. And he's he's right. I mean, Moise Keane, who scored that goal, was an Everton reject. Caliafiori plays for Arsenal sparingly. But you look at guys like, Cambiasso and Mancini's kid, Sandro Tonali, starts for Newcastle now that his gambling suspension is over with. But I just think about Pio Esposito, or as we would say, Phil Esposito. Pio Esposito goes to take the first penalty. He's 20 years old. And that's the thing that most Italian fans are scathing at. Why would you have that kid step up? Politano is over 30. Cristante is over 30. Spinazzola is over 30. But look, the reason is, it's like, well, I sent the youngest guy on the team up there because he's got the best chance of scoring. And that says you damned if you do and you damned if you don't. If he hits it, it's like, yeah, that's the right call. And if he doesn't hit it, you go, how do you send a young kid out there? But the guy's right. There's not one world-class player in a team that always had 3, 4, 5, 6 world-class players in the Azzurri. And so then they started saying things that they said in England 30 years ago. Oh, we don't teach them to keep the ball on the ground. We just keep tactics. In England, it was we go route one because it's always muddy. It's always raining. We can't dribble the ball. So we just kick it the length of the pitch and hope a striker runs on it. Or we put in a cross and hope our tall number 9 heads it in. That's all we can do in England. And it's like, why don't we keep the ball on the floor like the Brazilians? Why don't we actually try passing the ball? So I've never heard that about Italy. Oh, we're not teaching kids skills. We're just teaching them tactics. So it's a damning proposition. But if the USA missed 3 World Cups in a row, that would be horrifying coming out of CONCACAF. I mean, missing out on Russia 18 was inexcusable. But that was one time. Now we have qualified for 2 of them as host countries since '94, which helps. But still, it's inexcusable. And for Italy, and then one of the Arrigo Sacchi said, well, there's too many African teams. Look, you can say there's too many whatever teams, but you could say very much that there's too many teams from Europe when Bosnia and Herzegovina end up going, and North Macedonia last time end up going, and you don't. So it's not like they're only taking 6 European countries. Then I'd have to agree with you. But not one world-class outfield player in the Azzurri. Blue. It's pretty nuts. All right, let's take a quick break, and we got open lines. Come on back.
Do you have a book? Get it out of your mind and make it a real book. The free guide to book publishing. Trying to publish a book yourself can be complicated. It takes a lot of time. Time that you could spend writing your book, or even more books. Do what you do best. We can do the rest. Thousands of authors across the nation have trusted our book publishing service. We have the connections to help you get your book printed, distributed, and sold on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, and bookstores nationwide. We can do it faster than you can on your own. Get your free guide to publishing. It's a free phone call. Remember, make this free call right now and learn how to turn your book into something real that people can buy. Get your free writer's guide. Call right now. 800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. 800-482-8399. That's 800-482-8399.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs or alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work. Real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. If your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful online behaviors, even weight management, call right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
I hope I don't see you for a while. Getting sick of you.
Take your sick ass to the hospital.
Rick Tittle can usually be found at He Baby Mama House.
All right, thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you, coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. Sometimes I have to chuckle when someone sets up a guest with me, sends me 45 pages of emails, and then just has somebody read on a scratchy speakerphone. Just read answers. I think, you know what? I'll never blame the person. The speakerphone is for like hangers on. We want to hear what's going on. Speakerphone. All right. 1-800-878-PLAY. April Fool's jokes yesterday were pretty funny. And that is and I wonder if Boise State was playing along. And I'd like to think they were. But the University of Kentucky said, we're going with an all-blue turf next year. And they had a picture of their football stadium all blue. Well, that's the Smurf turf in Boise with Boise State. They retweeted it, and they wrote, cease and desist. So I figured, oh, they're playing along. And then Utah State said, new era, new field. And it was cow spots. Would never be allowed. It was a white field with all these blue cow splotches. Boise State tweeted out, infringement of U.S. trademark registration number 3,707,623. And then I wondered how many other people decided, oh, this is a good idea. And so then Florida International said, first gold field in the history of college football coming in 2026. And they had this was more of an AI drawing of their football field, which was completely gold. And then Boise State tweeted out, it's been a long day. All right. Now, can you take a little thing and make a big deal out of it? Of course you can. You can make a mountain out of a molehill and any other catchphrase you want. But yesterday, I saw something with the Giants that I didn't like. And you think, Rick, it's big leaguers. It's no big deal. It, heat of the moment. I mean, look at a Rosarena, big dumper. Do you think they care about that? That everybody trying to make a big deal out of that. Rosarena apologized, even though Raleigh should have been the first one to apologize. But they're brothers, in quotes. I always hated it when coaches would say, "We're a family. These are your brothers," and I'm thinking, no, we're not a damn family. Let's have camaraderie and be teammates. But family is just stupid. It's just stupid. I saw the talk on the Fire Festival. Boy, I must have been bored that day. In other words, it was a regular day. And the head of it, the guy whose idea for it, with the big, heavy credit card in the Fire Festival, and the staff wasn't being paid. And this woman stood up in a meeting and said, "What's going on? We haven't been paid." And the guy goes, "Well, we're a family." And she goes, "We're not a family. You're the boss and we're the employees and we want to get paid." And I thought, oh, good for her. We're a family. But anyway, I bring it up because while the Giants are getting ready for Rafael Devers to take over first base full time, which, of course, he's a third baseman by trade, but they've been working with him ever since he came over in the trade. And the Giants, after getting a little bit embarrassed their first 3 games, the old Wednesday, Friday, Saturday series at home, they went down to San Diego, a team that is favored above them to finish, and they won a couple games, and we're feeling better about ourselves. And then yesterday, Nick Pivetta, who, by the way, went out to the mound and immediately called out the grounds crew. And he's like, no. They got the clay and the tamponer and all those weird things, and boom, boom, boom. But anyway, he knew what he was doing because he was very good. And the Padres won 7-1. And so I bring it up because, now, I've said this times, I'm not a Matt Chapman guy. I was excited about him when the A's drafted him because I said, this guy is an amazing player. He's a SoCal native. He went to high school with Nolan Arenado. And he was, the A's had a mid-round pick. He wasn't a high pick, and so they got a real jewel in this guy. And it turned out, wow, he's really good defensively. And then he had one good season where he hit some. He was on the home run derby, and I said, on this show, you got the wrong Matt. You meant Matt Olson. I think Chapman had 2 home runs. He's not a home run hitter. But he's a line drive hitter, gap to gap, gold glove, platinum glove. That's what the Giants were signing. But he's also, I wouldn't trust him to do my taxes. In other words, jock, and that's what he's paid to be. He's not paid to be a college professor. He's paid to be a jock. But he's not a warm and fuzzy guy. Now, neither was Jeff Kent. Jeff Kent's in the Hall of Fame, and nobody will ever complain about what Jeff Kent did. Matt Chapman wished he had half the offensive talent that Jeff Kent had. Jeff Kent was an intimidating hitter. But I bring it up because Casey Schmidt, who also is not a baseman, but he's a good infielder, mostly on the left side, but now he's not playing first base. And yesterday, with 2 outs and 2 on in the bottom of the 5th, Xander Bogaerts chopped one to Chapman. He picked it up, threw a little bit off balance, and the ball was not caught by Schmidt because he stretched too early. And I heard Vitello this morning on the flagship station saying that's the number one mistake for all first basemen at any level when they first start playing the position is they stretch too early. And I remember even in high school just getting drilled, and I was playing third, and the coach kept saying, see the ball, then stretch, see the ball, then stretch. Because if you're stretched, you're screwed. The ball isn't right to you. You don't have time to get back on the balls of your feet and try to do something. He said bold. So it appeared catchable. Now, the thing I had a problem with, and that is on the mound when they came up to have a meeting, Chapman twice clearly said, catch the effing ball. Catch the effing ball. And Schmidt was charged 3, which is pretty savvy on the score. But there's 3 ways of going about that, in my opinion. One is you cup your hand over your mouth. Soccer players have learned this now. You cup your hand over your mouth because now there's AI that'll lip read. Even when 2 guys are kicking the ball before the game and having pleasantries, they're like, how's the wife? She's good. How's your girlfriend? We broke up. Where are you going to dinner tonight? want to know, what do you recommend? And normally you think, why do I got to cut my hand over my mouth for that? Because no one wants to know they don't want you to know your business. And so you either cup your hand over your mouth and you say, will you catch the effing ball? Or after the game, why are you stretching too early? You should have caught that. Chapman knows well enough that we're all going to read his lips. If he doesn't, then he's really stupid. And so after the game, Chapman say, we're all brothers. It's the heat of the moment. I already talked to Casey. It's all good. Schmidt said, we're trying to win games. I mean, obviously, I'm not mad about it or anything. That's baseball. I mean, those things I should have done, and I didn't. So, as I said, Schmidt is basically on the team because of his defense. He was a highly touted guy, kind of in the Christian Arroyo mold, like, this is our savior. But that's only the 18th time he's ever played first base. And Devers has a hamstring issue, and it's weird because you see him busting it down a line on an infield. It's like, it's easier to play first base than to run down the line. And then Bryce Eldridge, who never played first base in his life, they tried to make him a first baseman. So basically the Giants don't have any first basemen. They just don't have any. Dom's on another team now. Now, Luis Reyes has played first base, but they want him to be an everyday second baseman. And this thing about Vitello, he's got 4 guys on the bench. They haven't played. It's those 8 guys. And he was asked about it. And he said, yeah, I want the guys to play. And on the one hand, I kind of like it. But on the other hand, I don't know if he realizes this. It's 162 games, and you're going to burn everybody out, especially your catcher. You know, day games after night games and stuff like that. Now, right now, everybody's fresh. Even the WBC guys are fresh. But somebody, I don't know if it's Ron Washington or Jace Tingler or Buster Posey himself, has to say, why don't you give blankety blank a day off? You know, why don't you give, Bader was banged up on this. Why don't you give Bader a day off in center? What? But I like him. I know him. He's better than the guy on the bench. I know he's better than the guy on the bench, but the guy on the bench is still a big league baseball player. You can throw him in. So, look, what they said is probably 99% of what it was. You know, Chapman's a jock, and he thought that he made him look bad, and he said, catch the ball. And then Schmidt said, yeah, I should have scored, knew that was the error. But I also, I sat through hundreds and hundreds of games at the Coliseum where Josh Donaldson would have error after error after error, and they'd never give him an error. They'd either give it on the first baseman for not scooping it, which I don't think ever should be a situation. If the ball goes in the dirt, it's just like if the ball goes in the dirt, it's a wild pitch no matter what. They'll never give a pass ball, even if you should have scooped it. First baseman should never get an error if the ball. So, but now if you throw it in the dirt and the first baseman doesn't come up with it, it's like, oh, that guy sucks. You got to be able to have those. First baseman save so many damn errors. And that was one thing that Cliff Pennington was horrible about. He did not have a good arm. And he would bounce everything. And there were guys like Derek Barton. Say what you want about Derek Barton. Derek Barton was a wizard with the glove. Saved so many errors. And yeah, you want that. And you think if I can play and throw it over there, you got to catch it. I get it. So a seeds of discontent, I don't know. But I just know, like I said, Matt Chapman is not the type of guy that you're going to be having over for a Christmas pajama party anyway. That just ain't him. All right, I'm Tittle. We're talking some sports, and I'd love you to be a part of it. Come on back.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. You owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishments and release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than what you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. 800-915-9654. That's 800-915-9654.
With MedGuard, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. Cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Call us to get your Care Watch right now.
800-853-8931. 800-853-8931. 800-853-8931. That's 800-853-8931.
By noon, I need them 8,000 hens moved into their new cages. Now, sometimes I don't want to cooperate, but you give them a they'll settle down for you.
Do the chickens have large talons?
Do they have what?
Large talons.
I don't understand a word you just said.
Cares about anything else when you've got Rick Tittle on the radio.
All right, thanks for that. Hour 2 coming up. We're going to have Martin Dugard. He has a book called The Long Run about marathons, aptly named. Tiger Woods has declined the U.S. captain's role next year. He had already said that he probably wouldn't do it. He said he had too much on his plate, and now after the car crash where luckily he and no one else got injured. By the way, I hate it on the news when someone gets shot or in a war, an IED, and they go, there was some injuries. No, they were wounded. When you have an IED explode, you're not injured. Injured is when you fall on your house. Anyway, terminology. He says he's not going. Also, Puka Nacua has checked into a rehab in Malibu. Nice place to go. His lawyer, Levi McCathern, says that Puka hopes to improve his overall behavior in every aspect of his life. Well, he is being sued by a woman that said he bit her on the back, and it's going to be pretty easy, like John Voight's pencil, to match up those teeth marks. He also had made some anti-Semitic remarks. He also had done an anti-Semitic dance. I have no idea what that is. He was on a live stream where he was talking about how the refs suck. McCatherine said, "It is unfortunate that a trivial lawsuit has drawn attention to Puka during a time when he is focused on becoming a better overall person. I am really excited to see what the future holds for this gifted young man." This rehab is described as holistic. They said it's rehab for people battling addiction, chronic pain, and mental health conditions. His agent or his lawyer said he is committed to using the time constructively so he can return to the best possible position, both personally and professionally, continue to rehab in the game he loves. Just have stressed he'll be ready for OTAs. So, wish him the best. He was on the show one time. I thought he was very funny and engaging, and he's an absolute beast on the field. Come on back.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. We reached our first midweek getaway day in Major League Baseball on Wednesday, and while it wasn't exactly a marquee matchup, the Miami Marlins' 10-0 win over the Chicago White Sox was another showcase for possibly the most underappreciated pitcher in the game, Sandy Alcantara. Anyone who closely follows the game already knows how great of a pitcher Alcantara is, but to the one-team watcher or general sports fan, his exploits tend to get overshadowed. Ask someone to start naming pitchers: Ohtani, Skeen, Scooble, Fried, Yamamoto, Wheeler, and so on. Alcantara should be ubiquitous on those lists, but he's not, which is crazy to say about a guy with a Cy Young under his belt only 4 seasons ago. But because the franchise has been operating as a farm system for the rest of baseball, he doesn't get his due. We live in an era where fantasy numbers and red zone attention spans rule the world. In over 9 seasons, Alcantara is 53-67 with a 3.63 ERA. But those numbers aren't everything. With the exception of losing the 2024 season due to Tommy John surgery, Alcantara's career has been defined by durability, tenacity, and frugality every time he steps on the mound. He's the most economical pitcher in the sport. In the season opener against Colorado, Alcantara needed only 73 pitches to go 7 innings. He allowed 4 hits, 2 walks, and struck out 5, while only allowing 1 run by way of a 4th-inning infield single. Against Chicago yesterday, Alcantara threw a complete game shutout, allowing 3 singles, no walks, and striking out 7. His scoreless streak is now up to 15 innings. He did all of it on only 93 pitches. It was his 13th career complete game and second time needing less than 100 pitches to do it. The economy Alcantara provides is incredible. In 16 innings this season, he's thrown only 176 pitches. That's 11 per inning. Just as a comparison to another pitcher who's had 2 good starts, Houston's Hunter Brown has also given up only 1 run, and he's thrown slightly more pitches with 180, but he's also done so in only 10 2/3 innings. And when it comes to Alcantara's tenacity, I have to give it to the guy for grinding away in Miami for so long in front of no fans. Only 6,505 of them were announced to show up yesterday to watch the first-place Marlins move to 5-1, something even Alcantara finally threw shade at.
All my family here. Fans is not here, but we still love them, because we know this is a hard sport, and they know sometimes they gotta do something. They work the house, But yeah, today was great for me.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Soccer season rolls on here on Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
Quick question. How many calls, texts, or messages does your business miss every week? Nights, weekends, busy days. That's lost money. Create Assistance helps businesses fix that problem using AI employees that answer calls, respond to texts, book appointments, and follow up with leads 24/7 automatically. No extra staff, no complicated software. Everything runs inside one simple command center that replaces scattered tools, missed follow-ups, and manual busy work. Whether you're a service business, office, or multi-location company, Create Assistance keeps your business responsive, organized, and running even when you're off the clock. Stop letting leads slip through the cracks. Visit createassistance.ai to book a free call. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
I love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle business.
Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Tottenham today introduced their new manager. They've had 3 this year. Roberto De Zerbi, who did amazingly well at Brighton in the Premier League. He's also been at Marseille and other clubs. From his name, you might figure out that he is Italian. And anyway, there were 3 different Tottenham fan groups saying, if you sign him, we're going to boycott the games in a time when we really need to come together. Why were some of these groups upset? Because when he was at Marseille, he accepted Mason Greenwood on his team. Mason Greenwood is, or I should say was, one of the best young up-and-coming English players on Manchester United. And then about 4 years ago, he beat up his girlfriend and basically ended his career in the Premier League. But they took him in Turkey, and then they finally took him in Marseille, and all he did was score goal after goal after goal. And so people said, well, De Zerbi took that guy. That means he doesn't care about women. He doesn't care about women being beat up. And I understand that mindset. And De Zerbi today said, look, you know, I stand up for women and anyone who's weak and needs defending, and he didn't mean it like that, you know, the people who are more fragile. But he doubled down. He said Mason's been through a lot. He's paid the price. He is my footballing son. If I was allowed the money in the next transfer window, he'd be the first guy I would buy. And so if those fans want to boycott, I get it. But there are nuances to everything. And if it's just straight out of hand, if you coach that guy, I want nothing to do with you. All right. Well, that's the decision you have to make. But this is a huge get for Tottenham. And they needed somebody with the experience and the guile and the kind of hard-ass attitude, but with a lot of flair in the style of play. So hopefully this works out. They got 7 games to stay in the Premier League with Roberto De Zerbi. I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back on Byline.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with 1 coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money, and you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
Let's be honest. Most businesses don't struggle because demand is low. They struggle because their back end can't handle growth. Leads come in, but follow-up is slow. Calls get missed. Appointments don't get confirmed. And everything lives in different places. So even when marketing works, revenue doesn't scale. That's a systems problem. Create Assistance fixes this by building a done-for-you CRM and automation system that captures every lead, follows up automatically, confirms appointments, and keeps everything organized in one place. And only after that foundation is built, AI voice and chat employees get added on. If your business feels chaotic behind the scenes, it's time to fix the back end. Visit createassistance.ai and book your call today. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
Every champion has a team behind them, and for thousands of families without insurance, Christ Clinic is that team. At Christ Clinic in Katy, Texas, they provide high-quality, faith-based health care to people who can't afford it, because everyone deserves a shot at health, no matter their income or insurance status. Their doctors, volunteers, their mission, rooted in compassion, their impact, over 10,000 patient visits every year and growing. But they can't do it without help from fans like you. If you ever cheered for a comeback story, this is your chance to be a part of one. Donate today at ChristClinicKaty.org and help them keep the doors open for those who need it most. One gift can be the difference between surviving and thriving. Christ Clinic in Katy, where health meets hope and faith goes to work. That's Christ Clinic Katy, spelled Katy.org. Team up with them today.
Hour 2 of titillating sports. You thought it couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great. I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Couldn't get any better, but it's better. Rick Tittle is back. He's so great. I can't believe how awesome he is. More sports talk, yes. Hour 2 of titillating sports.
Hey, check out Channel 9. Check out Rick Tittle.
Hey, thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. It is our pleasure to welcome to the show New York Times bestselling author Martin Dugard, or as they know him in France, Martin Dugard. His new book, The Long Run. Steve Prefontaine, Frank Shorter, Joan Benoit, I guess she was, Greta Waits, and the decade that made the marathon cool. And if you're watching on twitch.tv or YouTube, you see me holding up the uncorrected proofs edition of this book, but you get the idea. Martin, welcome to the show, and tell us, because the marathon is such a mental, if not physical, thing as well, and I guess this kind of coincides with the New York City Marathon celebrating their 50th year this year, right?
Yeah. First of all, Rick, thanks for having me on. It was not. That was kind of by accident that this is coming out the same year as the New York City Marathon turning 50. But that marathon is actually very consequential to the book, so it works out pretty well. The marathon itself is really not just a book about the marathon. It's about this whole revolution that has taken place in lifestyle and fitness in the country from all the way back in 1970 to what we have right now, with 1.1 million people signing up for the London Marathon. I mean, it's just huge. I mean, there were only 55 people around the first New York City Marathon in 1970.
Now, that first marathon in 1970, it's I was just looking at your blurb. Only 127 people, and they didn't shut down the city. It was just 4 loops down Park Drive. This year, going through all 5 boroughs. But what was that like, that first marathon? Because in 1970, the word jogging was really slowly becoming part of our lexicon. It wasn't really there yet.
No, it was brand new. That kind of came about in 1967, but you think about it, 127 people showed up for the race. It was Sunday morning. It was like 85 degrees all the way, so it was hot, and only 55 finished. There was one woman, and she dropped out after, it was a four-lap course. She dropped out after 2 laps. But, and you think, the clothing was, they wore tube socks for crying out loud, and there were no real running shoes. Guys with these nut hugger shorts on, look like, the old Bob Cousy shorts.
Yeah.
So it is not what you think of when you think of today's marathon. And the people, New York City, they were out and about. It was a Sunday morning, so they thought these people were just a bunch of freaks. And there were no aid stations. There was no porta potties. It was, compared to today, it's pretty primitive.
Well, and then you think, the bicentennial, Ford dead, whether he said it or not, it was a good headline. The blackout, Son of Sam, Times Square was a toilet. How did the marathon help New York out of that?
Well, remember, the bicentennial's a big part of it, because they had the tall ships thing and they had the big fireworks, and that was July 4th. And the marathon was held in October that year. So after the excitement of all that bicentennial stuff, the city went back to being a complete, like you said, a complete toilet. But what happened was, it was pretty amazing, because that was the first year of the 5 Boroughs Marathon. And when the people came off the Barrows out of Narrows Bridge down into Brooklyn, there was such a curiosity factor. Literally thousands of people were lining the street to see what was going on. And the number of people running was closer to about 2,000 that year. But when they came off the bridge, they were hit by this wall of noise with all these people applauding. So it was kind of ironic, because all these people who'd gotten out of bed, had a cup of coffee, walked down to watch the marathon. Meanwhile, picking up trash was kind of, the garbage store picking up trash, and there were, big piles of trash on the sidewalks. It was not the best moment, but at the same time, the excitement around the marathon began bringing people to the city. And all these, the people who didn't just come to watch, but the people who came to compete from around the world, and it really affected a change within the city and a sense of civic pride that continues to this day.
I think about, when I was a little kid, Frank Shorter winning, and in L.A., Joan Benoit, Samuelson. She's from Maine, I think. It's basically Cooper Flag, her, and Nordic is the only big athletes out of Maine. But
out of Maine.
Yeah. What did Joan? Let's just talk about Joan Benoit, because as you mentioned, the women weren't really doing this en masse, and I guess that probably opened a lot of eyes from women who are like, oh, well, I love running. I'm doing this.
It kind of began because at the Olympics until 1984, women couldn't run a longer distance than the 1,500 meters, the metric mile. And when Greta Weitz won City Marathon in 1979 and just destroyed almost the entire men's field. That was the first time people really thought women could compete at that elite level. And so Joan Benoit and Greta Weitz became rivals of a kind, and over their careers they raced 11 times. And Greta won 10 of those 11, but the one everybody remembers is that one lone victory, because that was when Joan Benoit won the first women's marathon in 1984. But the interesting thing is that didn't really spark a women's boom, but it sparked kind of a women's realization that they could pursue fitness. And so that's what sparked the aerobics boom, amazingly. And what really got the women out there running and really, so now it's almost 50-50 at a marathon of women and men. And that was Oprah, 1992. Oprah ran the Marine Corps Marathon. And that was when people said, well, she doesn't look like a marathoner. She doesn't have a running background, but she got out and did it. And it inspired a whole lot of women to begin running.
What about there's movies about him, and in Oregon he's still held up. It's hard to believe he was only 24 when he died, but, Frank Shorter knew him, Kenny Moore, and I'm talking about Steve Prefontaine. What did he mean to the sport? Does he still mean to the sport?
Pre was a dude. That's the cool thing about Pre. And you have to remember, go back to that 1970 New York City Marathon. All the runners were just kind of fitness nerds, and they were just out running, and they were not what you would think of as kind of
cool,
iconic. Yeah, cool. Exactly. Good way to put it. And so Pre comes in, and he's brash. He's got this porn star mustache. He's got, he actually has, pecs. He loved the women. He loved to drink, and he took running out of the nerd factor out of running, and made running just, he just kind of rose above the sport and became just this. Like when I was a kid, I thought he was what every runner should be. So when he died, in 1975, that was just heartbreaking, because he meant so much to the sport.
Last question for you, and this isn't really a marathon question, but just I think we're probably around the same age group, because I remember as a kid in the 70s, Jim Fixx was the kind of the jogging guru, and then he was flogging granola, and then he dropped dead while he was running. What about that shock, and then sort of the ramifications of what happened with Jim Fixx?
I was never a Jim Fixx fan, because I was one of those. I think we're about the same age. He was, when I became a runner, right after the Shorter thing, and then I ran through high school, and Fixx brought all these people into the sport who, he just brought all the kind of the more elite, the kind of the chic people into the sport. But at the same time, he did a public service with it. But when he dropped dead, it was shocking, but I don't think it really impacted running that much, because before he became a runner, he was a heavy smoker. He had lost like 50 pounds when he took up running at the age of 37. So I think he did a big service, but he was kind of a tangent to the actual, the growth of running in America and the popularity of the marathon, to the point that now it's considered, top bucket list goal. I mean, Fixx played a role, but not as much as Pre or Shorter.
Coming out on the 14th of this month from Dutton Publishing. It's called The Long Run. Steve Prefontaine, Frank Shorter, Joan Benoit, Greta Weitz, and the decade that made the marathon cool. All from our guest, Martin Dugard. Martin, good stuff. Congrats on the book. Let's catch up on your next one.
All right, Rick. Thanks.
All right. We got open lines. Come on in the rest of the hour. 1-800-878-PLAY.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? You know, most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans, and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast, and you could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call the Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Call now. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. That's 800-605-1680. Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a representative for complete offer details. See Vivint.com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and smart home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get Vivint's award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. That's 800-918-6189.
This is special too. It's look, see, still got the old tagger on it. See, never even played it. See?
You just bought it?
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
I wasn't going to touch it.
No, don't touch it.
I was just pointing at it.
Well, don't point even.
Don't even point?
No, it can't be played. Never. I mean,
Can I look at it?
No, you've seen
Don't
enough
look
of
at
that
it.
one.
I'm so disgusted by Rick Tittle that I find him very intoxicating.
All right. Thank you for that, and welcome back to the show. Just speak English much. You might remember last month, Dabo of Clemson having a baby about Ole Miss and their head coach, Pete Golding, who took over for Lane Kiffin, because they stole away Luke Farrelly. Luke was an amazing for Cal last year, and as a red shirt freshman was freshman of the year. And so he had his pick of the litter. He decided on Clemson. He enrolled in class. He bought a car, and he got an apartment. And he started working out with off-season programs with the Tigers team. Basically about as ensconced as you're going to get on the old plantation there. And that's not a nickname. That was a huge slave plantation where Clemson is. Luckily, it's not now. I'm not saying anything bad about Clemson. But Dabo Swinney had a baby about it and basically said, you know, why do we even have any rules? How can you steal this kid away? But he legally did because the signing period had not come to an end, and he was offered an extra $1 million. We throw these you know, it's like the Kirk Cousins deal. I said it's a 1-year deal. Technically, it's a 5-year deal, but it's a 1-year deal. The Raiders have options for $80 million for the next 2, which would give him 40 and 40. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But it's just the way you do it to get that 1-year deal the way you want it. So $1 million to you and me, and we're buying private islands. Now that island is 5 square feet, but you know what I mean? That's a lot of money for us. And so, especially if you're 18 years old, an extra $1 million. So I bring this all up today. You say, isn't this old news? Well, it was until Pete Golding chimed in. And this is his first public response that, you know, Swinney said he was improperly contacting Farrelly when he was a student at Clemson. Golding said, obviously there's two sides to the story, right? So I'm not going to sit up here and use the podium as a grandstand and all of that. That's why there is enforcement. That's why we have our compliance office. They do all that. So Golding said the bottom line with the recruitment of Luke, he came here on an official visit prior to the Fiesta Bowl. I told him, I want you to be our green dot Mike. But right now we've got a green dot Mike. And so that spot is not available. So forgive me if I'm patronizing you. Linebackers are Mike, Will, and Sam. Mike is middle linebacker. Sam is strong side linebacker. Will is weak side linebacker. So now you could say, well, is the weak guy weak? No, Patrick Willis was a Will. So there's nothing weak about a Will. So green dot is the guy who's he has the radio headset, and you have to wear green dot to let everybody know I have a wireless communication system with the sideline. No hand signals, no Chip Kelly, Burger King, IBM signs. He can just tell me. So that's basically the leader of the defense, is your green dot Mike linebacker. So once again, he said, I told him I want you to be our green dot Mike, but we already got a green dot Mike. Well, so he enrolls in Clemson. Then TJ Daugherty, who was the green dot Mike, Lane Kiffin took him over to Baton Rouge with him. So then Golding said, so it's a kid that wanted to be here and that we wanted him to be here. And at the end of it, that spot came open and he's here now and we're him. So Golding is like, I told him we don't have the spot for you. And then he goes, actually, the spot opened up. Do you still want it? We'll give you an extra $1 million. And he was like, okay. By the way, Farrelly started every game, 91 tackles, 5 for a loss, a sack, an interception, 2 pass breakups. So the competing versions of the story leave questions unanswered, obviously, particularly surrounding the timing and the nature of the contact and his enrollment at Clemson. Swinney has described what he calls documented communications, including calls and texts. He said it was blatant tampering. He said Clemson has submitted its findings to the NCAA. There's been no formal ruling. But under NCAA bylaws and tampering, defined as contacting a player before they enter the transfer portal is a level 2 violation, which obviously is not as severe. It's felony and misdemeanor. It's still a crime, not heinous, as heinous as it can be. Now, there are several severe penalties if it is impermissible benefits tied to enrollment. In other words, what you're going to throw at them. So this dispute is all during a time of this broader push by the NCAA to enforce and strengthen these tampering rules around the transfer portal. And in February, they sent a memo saying there will be significant penalties for violations. Remember that? I read that. It was anyone who breaks the rules will see suspensions and vacated wins and bans on bowls and scholarships taken away. So we'll see about the Frelly situation, but for now, Golding's response was very, was very short and sweet. He wanted to be here, but the job he wanted wasn't here, so he left. I understand that. And then the job became available. The window to transfer was still open, so he said, the job's available. Do you want it, or do you want to stay there? And sweetening the deal by an extra minute. Now, Frelly, according to reports, went to Clemson and said, look, I'm in my apartment, and I'd rather just stay here if you throw me that extra $1 million. And they're like, you agreed to this. Why are we going to you're going to hold us ransom? You already agreed to this. We already have a deal with you. All right, bye. What? Bye. Yeah. So that's why you can see why it's infuriating. I see both sides. I really do. Because the window was still open. And you ask the kid, do you want to come here? The window's still open. Sure. But I also see Sweeney fuming, just fuming. And he went out of his way to say he bought a car. He probably could have thrown in, he met a girl and got engaged in 3 days. His life here. But we'll see if anybody crossed the line. But, we're talking about two different conferences, the SEC rating the ACC. Remember when Clemson and Florida State said, if you let in Cal and Stanford, we're leaving? They didn't leave. Kind of me out here. If Johnson is still involved with the Giants, we're never going to another game. Yeah. By the way, that would be like me looking at Hasso Plattner of the Sharks, and boy, what a game last night, and just saying, before I start enjoying that Celebrini goal and that assist to Wenberg and another 4-point night for the kid, who did Hasso Plattner give money to? Politics. I have to see how he voted. I have to see what religion he is. I have to see if he's straight or gay. I have to see if he's an ally or an enemy. Just enjoy the sport. That's me. Isn't life complicated enough? All right. I'm Rick Tittle, giving East Fables. Coming back.
Message out that from this day forward, when you buy American, you buy best. Handcrafted, something premium, something pure. For this is the very essence of what our servicemen and women gave their lives to protect, and by God, we shall not allow their sacrifice to be forgotten. It's time to show the world just how great American can be. And we will not wait for tomorrow to come. We will stand here, this together. Start today. Don't ever forget how great it is to be American. America we need right now. American Premium Vodka. Celebrate responsibly.
Quick question. How many calls, texts, or messages does your business miss every week? Nights, weekends, busy days. That's lost money. Create Assistance helps businesses fix that problem using AI employees that answer calls, respond to texts, book appointments, and follow up with leads 24/7 automatically. No extra staff, no complicated software. Everything runs inside one simple command center that replaces scattered tools, missed follow-up, and manual busy work. Whether you're a service business, office, or multi-location company, Create Assistance keeps your business responsive, organized, and running even when you're off the clock. Stop letting leads slip through the cracks. Visit createassistance.ai to book a free call. Or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
Special alert for consumers struggling to pay taxes. There are new tax regulations not published yet. We have the inside track on your new tax savings. These programs are designed to help struggling taxpayers like you. The COVID relief programs are gone, but there are new programs to help struggling taxpayers. And we, the inside track. Call now and we'll take you through these new programs. These taxpayer savings programs have never been available until now. Out of tax trouble now. It doesn't take weeks. It can happen in one phone call. Call now and get the inside track. Rid of your tax problems.
Call the tax helpline now. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. That's 800-949-0039.
To me, it's like a mountain. A bowl of pus.
Who cares anything else when you got Rick Tittle on the radio?
Bless your heart. Thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. Lines are open. Come on in and let's talk. 1-800-878-PLAY. JD Sharp in the next hour. Wendy Enzmann for Synchro 9. What's that? I know, right? What is Synchro 9, dude? Well, I'll find out together. But I'm putting out a tweet. Wendy Enzmann of Synchro 9 joins me at 11:40. Maybe people will think it's like a techno band or something, or electronica. Remember, Ladytron is a band that I like out of Scotland, and they're supposed to be called electronica. That is their genre. All right, Raider fans. Kirk Cousins is in the house, which means that Fernando Mendoza, we can have a little Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes situation, hopefully. Let's go to Charlie Hill's Kitchen, Manhattan. What do you think, Charlie?
Well, before we get to Kirk Cousins, I would like to throw a couple of anecdotes about Prefontaine.
Yeah.
He was I in my, not previous life, but when I was much younger, I did a ton of running. I was very inspired by him. Anyway, read a book on him. Two things that stick out. He always ticked off his coaches at Oregon because when he ran, he wanted to be a front. He always ran right. He wanted to set the pace right from the gun.
Mm-hmm.
And his coaches always wanted him to, I think it was called sit and kick, sort of strategize. He said he wanted to demoralize all his opponents right from the get-go. So I always thought that was an interesting take, and which his famous quote is sort of based on. He always used to say, "The best pace is the suicide pace," and today seems like a good day to die.
Wow.
Or I'm paraphrasing. So he was, he was like a rock star. He was turning, like you were talking to that guy, turned it into a cool thing, and he liked the ladies and he liked the party, and it was just. Sort of similar to like a James Dean. What if they had lived beyond 24, 25, what their careers would have been like. But anyway, I digress. Kirk Cousins, I like the signing. Am I in love with Kirk Cousins? No, but of the veteran quarterbacks available, Russell Wilson. I've even heard rumors about Carr coming out of retirement.
No.
I think Kirk Cousins knows the deal. It's a 1-year deal. When I first saw the 5-year deal, I almost threw up in my mouth, but then I read it, and I think he knows the deal. He has experience. He knows Kubiak's offense from being in Minnesota. So, listen, for me personally, I would have thrown Fernando out there day one, unless he just struggled in preseason. But I heard his pro day, he looked phenomenal. Well, for whatever that's worth, there's no pass rush. It's just him throwing. But I heard accuracy. Numbers were 50. He was 53 for 56, and 2 of the passes were dropped. So, I mean, we'll take that for whatever it's worth. I mean, I'm basing it more on what I saw him in live action.
Mm-hmm.
But, I think Kirk Cousins is fine. Last year he was not good. I think he threw like 15, 16 picks. I don't know how much that Achilles tear from a couple of years ago.
Actually, last year, 10 touchdowns, 5 picks.
Oh, so maybe I'm thinking 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 years ago. But listen, if you're saying who would you rather have a backup or as a starter, Kirk Cousins, Aiden O'Connell? I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you okay with him signing? Raiders signing him?
I think the Raiders have, with all that money they bragged about, have spent it so wisely on Linderbaum, and the Crosby thing fell through. All those linebackers we got, and Kwity Paye, the pass rusher. Hopefully he works out, and then take that money and not sign a Minshew or a Geno Smith. Sign a guy who, when he was healthy, threw for 4,000 yards every year.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I would love an Alex Smith Mahomes situation. Now they tried that, as I mentioned, with Schaub and Carr is better. But yeah, it would be great if he beats him out. But at least the Raiders, there's an adult in the room, like Kubiak said.
Yes, yeah, for sure. I agree with everything that I think that all their signings I like very much. They've been very wise with their money spending. And the Max Crosby deal fell through. We would both love to have those 2 number ones, but it's not the worst thing in the world if they keep Max Crosby going into the season and going forward. And I still don't not be surprised if he's traded on draft night. I haven't read anything, but I'm thinking maybe some team will be enough. But again, if you're not going to get a 1 and a 2 and a player, a starter, then you might as well just keep him. And like I said, having him on your team is, now you have Kwity from the Colts and see how the draft plays out. But no, I think they've had it, dare I say, a very more than above average off-season, a B+, which how often can you say that about this organization?
So the next thing is, what do you do after Mendoza? And it could be a draft where it's Mendoza, and if he doesn't work out and all the other picks suck, we've seen drafts like that. But if they can hit 2 more starters in the draft, that would be awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned receiver. They still need a number 1 receiver, but so with your second pick, do you go best player available at that point? What if you have a receiver? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Mm-hmm.
What if you have there's an O-lineman and a receiver, both equally? Who would you what direction, or a linebacker? Who would you?
I would lean line, because I think you can always pick up Tyler Lockett type of guys, Now, if Jordan Tyson is for some reason dropped to the second round, I would take. I don't like big board in football. In basketball, in baseball, in hockey, you got to take the best guy. But in football, it's need, and so and sometimes you get screwed on that. But I would probably go O-line, because I want to give Gentil a chance this year.
Yeah, you can't have enough O-linemen. I fully agree. And if there's someone there with that second, I think we talked about the guy from. That was if they had the Ravens, the O-lineman, I think from Penn State. But if there's someone there, then I As long as they don't draft a tight end with their number 2 pick, I'm good. Anyway, that's all I got, buddy. You have a happy Easter. Happy, unless I call tomorrow. I don't know if I will. But you have a happy Easter.
You too. All right, thank you for that. Happy Easter, happy Passover, or however you celebrate, or if you don't celebrate, have some carrot cake. And by the way, Easter egg hunt, that's religious, right? Yes. Speaking of the NFL, why is my voice time to change, Peter Brady? NFL has no intentions of getting rid of the Rooney Rule, even though there's some pressure mounting from the Florida Attorney General as some of these, diversity initiatives have taken a blow in recent years. Remember, Trump said, get anything gay or black out of our history books. Jackie Robinson, remember the Enola Gay? They go, no, that's the name of a plane. That was the Hiroshima. Oh, so it's not homosexual? No, the guy's mom's name. So it was kind of algorithm carnage. But speaking yesterday, the commissioner, Roger Goodell, said about the Rooney Rule, which has been around about 25 years, said one thing that doesn't change is our values. We believe that diversity has been a benefit to the National Football League. We're well aware of the laws, where the laws are changing or evolving. We think the Rooney Rule is consistent with those. So remember, the Rooney Rule is not a hiring mandate. It's just what they call a best practice. The fact that there were 10 open head coaches' job this past cycle, not one black man was hired. But we also know that the Rooney Rule was how Mike Tomlin got a job, or Brian Flores perhaps got a job. And, of course, it's amazing that it's the Rooney Rule, and it happened in Pittsburgh. But they started doing that in baseball. And I remember Texas really had no interest in Ron Washington, and he wowed them so much. They hired him, and he won 2 pennants with the Rangers. Should have won a World Series if it wasn't for David Freese and Lance Berkman and those guys. In Florida, we have 3 NFL teams, the Bucs, the Jags, and the Dolphins. And the Jags are going to be going to Orlando, by the way, for a few years while they redo their stadium. But if Florida does pass a law that would ban the Rooney Rule, they would have to align with state law. You just think about all the things that are wrong. I'd rather fix a pothole on my street than try to make sure that minorities were not getting interviewed. The Rooney Rule, by the way, is not any type of affirmative action or quota. As I just said, 10 jobs available, 10 people who weren't black got hired. There's no quota, there's no rule. It just says you have to interview them. Now, some guys have been interviewed that apparently aren't very good in interviewing. If I may dare say, it's Eric Bieniemy, who's had 100 interviews and no one wanted him. There are times when, like when the Raiders kept getting a new head coach every year, they would get Skip Peete, running back coach, who was in the building. Black, right? Yeah, you want to interview for head coach? Okay, come on in. What would you do as head coach? I do this and that. All right, thanks. That was 6 minutes. Yeah, thanks. So that was a joke. But sometimes it did pay off. I'm not saying it's perfect. But to ban that, now you could say, well, it's not, how is that freedom where you have to interview someone who's black? I'm like, really? That's the mountain you want to die on? You can't make me interview a black guy. I decide who I interview. Yeah, what a charmed life you lead when that is something that you want to make sure you erase from the law books. Goodness gracious. Well, at least the commissioner said, no, it's staying. And I very rarely agree with him, but this time I do. Let's take a break. We'll come back on by.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights. And you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it. Only get paid if you win. So if you're in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163.
It's more than a rebellion. When your teen is slipping into drugs or alcohol, when social media and pornography consume their time and their mind, when depression and even suicidal thoughts cast a shadow over your home, as a parent, you feel powerless. There is hope. At Turnabout Ranch, troubled teens step away from the chaos and into a clarity of nature on a working cattle ranch. Care for horses, learn responsibility, build trust, and rediscover purpose. It isn't theory, it's real work, real therapy, real healing. Families from across the country have found transformation right here, just when they thought hope was gone. Your teen is struggling with addiction, harmful behaviors, even weight management. All right now and get the help you all need.
800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. 800-219-2494. That's 800-219-2494.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then around the time they can come pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097.
If no insults for being fat, let's have him. Look at him. Why? Glasses. Let's call Four Eyes as well. Why don't we call him Fatty Fatty Toad Boy? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Don't be getting your granny panties all in a bunch. We got Rick Tittle up in here.
All right, we got Rick Tittle up in here. That's me. And we got more show for you. We have another hour to go. The NBA, I mean, the tanking epidemic is already clear. The NBA says a blowout, at least in their unofficial stats, is a loss by 30 points or more. We've already set the all-time record this season. There have been 82 games where a team has lost by 30. The number one culprit are the Wizards, who are fooling their fans that they won 10 grand on an April Fool's prank. The Kings have 9, the Jazz have 7, the Nets have 7, the Bucks have 7. Now on the other side, OKC and the Knicks have the most 30-point wins with 8 each. You know, I've gone out of my way, and sometimes people should say, you shouldn't say that, Rick. Well, you know what? I'm saying it. The NBA regular season is such a crappy product. There are only a few teams every few years that have it, and I had it here for decades where the Warriors were just atrocious. And by the way, people said, the Warriors used to sell out even when they sucked. No, they didn't. I was at those games where I literally put my feet up on the seat in front of me. So that's not true. But once they started winning, then, Roracle became amazing, or as I call it, the Oakland Alameda Coliseum Marina. But right now, and they're talking about, maybe Steph can come back this next game, and that just fills me with dread. Normally, I can't. He's the only thing worth watching, but I just think he's going to get hurt. Now he'll miss next year. God would. And I think there's some sort of deal with the whole Jemski thing. There's something going on there. He has pictures. Guys, when someone's that atrocious, and then who talks about how great he is and says he'd be Shohei Ohtani and that he's just as good, if not better than Steph, I kind of check out. NBA regular season basketball, catch the blowout. Come on back.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning. We reached our first midweek getaway day in Major League Baseball on Wednesday. While it wasn't exactly a marquee matchup, the Miami Marlins' 10-0 win over the Chicago White Sox was another showcase for possibly the most underappreciated pitcher in the game, Sandy Alcantara. Anyone who closely follows the game already knows how great a pitcher Alcantara is, but to the one-team watcher or general sports fan, his exploits tend to get overshadowed. Ask someone to start naming pitchers. Ohtani, Skeen, Scooble, Fried, Yamamoto, Wheeler, and so on. Alcantara should be ubiquitous on those lists, but not, which is crazy to say about a guy with a Cy Young under his belt only 4 seasons ago. But because the franchise has been operating as a farm system for the rest of baseball, he doesn't get his due. We live in an era where fantasy numbers and red zone attention spans rule the world. In over 9 seasons, Alcantara is 53-67 with a 3.63 ERA. But those numbers aren't everything. With the exception of losing the 2024 season due to Tommy John surgery, Alcantara's career has been defined by durability, tenacity, and frugality every time he steps on the mound. He's the most economical pitcher in the sport. In the season opener against Colorado, Alcantara needed only 73 pitches to go 7 innings. He allowed 4 hits, 2 walks, and struck out 5, while only allowing 1 run by way of a 4th-inning infield single. Against Chicago yesterday, Alcantara threw a complete game shutout, allowing 3 singles, no walks, and striking out 7. His scoreless streak is now up to 15 innings, and he did all of it on only 93 pitches. It was his 13th career complete game and second time needing less than 100 pitches to do it. The economy Alcantara provides is incredible. In 16 innings this season, he's thrown only 176 pitches. That's 11 per inning. Just as a comparison to another pitcher who's had 2 good starts, Houston's Hunter Brown has also given up only 1 run, and he's thrown slightly more pitches with 180, but he's also done so in only 10 2/3 innings. And when it comes to Alcantara's tenacity, I have to give it to the guy for grinding away in Miami for so long in front of no fans. Only 6,505 of them were announced to show up yesterday to watch the first-place Marlins move to 5-1, something even Alcantara finally threw shade at.
All my family here, fans is not here, but we still love them, because we know this is a hard sport, and they know what sometimes they gotta do something. They work the house, but yeah, today was great for me.
I'm Mike Sempervive with the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network 2-minute warning.
Have you been daydreaming about losing weight for years? Do you just yo-yo back and forth? At Innovative Wellness Center, we have a holistic weight loss program that allows you to lose up to 20 pounds in 30 days. People are losing weight like crazy and keeping it off. It can be done from anywhere in the United States. Go to our website at www.innovativewellness.center and schedule your complimentary consultation today.
Soccer season rolls on here on the Sports Byline Broadcast Network. This is Tyler Levine, host of First Touch, the premier weekly global soccer show across the entire Sports Byline broadcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Simple Radio, and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. We're talking English Premier League, Champions League, our picks of the week, and a whole lot more. First Touch on Sports Byline USA Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. See you there.
Getting together with friends to watch the game? Then you'll need American Premium Vodka. Handcrafted and pure, this is the one thing all Americans can agree on. Founder Mark Gus Scott chose the finest natural elements America has to offer, and you'll taste how great it is to be an American. Now available at Bevmo, GoPuff, Hy-Vee, and Fairway stores. American Premium Vodka. This is the America we need right now. Go to AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Celebrate responsibly.
Quick question. How many calls, texts, or messages does your business miss every week? Nights, weekends, busy days. That's lost money. Create Assistance helps businesses fix that problem using AI employees that answer calls, respond to texts, book appointments, and follow up with leads 24/7 automatically. No extra staff, no complicated software. Everything runs inside one simple command center that replaces scattered tools, missed follow-ups, and manual busywork. Whether you're a service business, office, or multi-location company, Create Assistance keeps your business responsive, organized, and running even when you're off the clock. Stop letting leads slip through the cracks. Visit createassistance.ai to book a free call, or you can call or text 515-500-2224. Again, that's 515-500-2224. We look forward to hearing from you.
Rick Tittle knows his sports.
I hate that guy.
Love that guy. Oh my gosh, he's so fine. Rick Tittle brings home the bacon, fries it up in a pan, and then he eats it.
Ricky T in the hizzle for shizzle biznatch.
Thank you so much. Welcome back to the show. Wendy Enzmann will join us in about 33 minutes, getting exact. Talk about something called Synchro 9 with figure skating. Talk to her. Also, in the news, Trevor Bauer is back in the United States. He's signed on with the Long Island Ducks. Of course, that is an indie team that has seen a lot of players try to redo their career over the years. Of course, Trevor Bauer, just think about UCLA when they had Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer. Those guys were in the top 3 of draft picks. Why didn't they win the College World Series at UCLA? But he won a Cy Young, but we also know when he was with Cleveland, and Tito Francona went to relieve the ball, he threw it over the center field fence. He was an a-hole. The Diamondbacks cashed in on him very early because he refused to do any of the workout stuff. He said, "I'll do my own workouts." He's a total a-hole, but he also won a Cy Young. And he also he served a 194-game suspension for violating domestic violence policy because apparently some girl, he said, "Do you like it rough?" And she said, "Yeah." And then he beat the living crap out of her, like choking, black eyes, just sadistic, really evil stuff. And so he went and pitched in the Mexican League. He was with the Diablos Rojos, the Red Devils, and La Ciudad de Mexico. He was pitcher of the year in the Mexican League. And now he's back with the Long Island Ducks. And, I talked about Roberto De Zerbi signing a player who had domestic abuse. What about a guy who actually did it? But on the other hand, he was never charged with a crime. He settled out of court with the women, plural, who made claims against him. So who's the big league team that's going to give Trevor Bauer a chance? I don't know. I don't see it happening, but the Ducks have brought him in. That's surprising enough as it is. All right, 1-800-878-PLAY. Tune in at iHeartRadio app, Stitcher app. Come on back.
Progressive knows that for business owners, vacations hit different. But hey, at least you finally took a vacation. And look at that. You only answered 53 calls, 84 emails, onboarded one new hire, and covered for Chris while he's out on paternity leave, and you did it all from a kayak. Because you, my friend, know how to relax. All right, you may not know how to take a day off, but you do know both your personal and business auto insurance needs can be covered in one place with Progressive. So at least that's relaxing, right? Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states or situations.
Do you want to add a boost to your sex life this weekend? Do you want to make your partner and yourself happy? Then call our special hotline now. We'll sell you those little pills that work below the belt for less than $1 a pill and deliver your package in a few days, just in time for the weekend. Our pill delivers almost the same results as expensive pills for less than $1 a piece, and you don't need a prescription. And ask about their buy 3 get 3 free offer. What are you waiting for? Boost your sex life and have a great time now. Less than $1 a pill, discreet delivery in a few days, and a buy 3 get 3 free offer? Dial this number and save it now.
800-245-2751. 800-245-2751. 800-245-2751. That's 800-245-2751. Paid for by the Pharmacy Shop. Keep listening for details on how to get up to $300 airline credit. Sky Holidays introduces a one-of-a-kind air credit program. Our buying team got a little too aggressive in getting hotel and air deals, so now we have to liquidate our prices. Here's how. You want to go to Paris, Las Vegas, London, Atlanta, Hawaii, or anywhere else in the world? We have amazing deals. Book a selected hotel and we'll give you $300 airline credit. Now you can book your vacation and get a free credit to use towards airline travel. We'll book both, airline and hotel, with one simple phone call. We have access to most airlines and deals on thousands and thousands of places to stay. Call right now, book your hotel rooms, claim your airline credit. You can change or modify it at any time. 800-256-4816. 800-256-4816. That's 800-256-4816.
Spring brings brighter days and more time to show off your Kohl styles. School drop-off, chance for your outfit to shine in the morning rays. The sun filtering through your windows, practically a personal spotlight. And family walks, all perfectly timed for golden hour. Shop Kohl's for 15% off and make the most of more daylight. Your outfits deserve it. Select styles. Offer ends April 4th. Some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle is a genius. The best show ever. He's so wonderful. Genius. The best show ever. He's so wonderful. Titillating Sports with Rick Tittle. Rick Tittle he's so handsome. He's a genius.
I am so excited to be back on the Rick Tittle Show.
All right, thank you for that. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on American Forces Radio Network. It's our pleasure to bring back to the show J.D. Sharp from Pro Wagering. Likes to check in at 11:12 Pacific time on weekdays. He's by the way, professional prognosticator. JD, the Raiders have signed Kirk Cousins basically a one-year deal, and he is going to mentor Fernando Mendoza now, and the Raiders are hoping for maybe like an Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes situation. But knowing you like I do, I think you're going to say, now correct me if I'm wrong, now that you have Cousins, draft R.L. Reese. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know R.L. Reese, but I think you should draft Jordan Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think you should trade the pick, of course. I've been saying that for a long time, and I watched his pro day. He had one pretty good ball, but I'm really impressed with him. Again, I think that Indiana team was older than everybody else. I think Mendoza's fine. I don't think he's a fit for Vegas, just personality-wise. I think a guy like Carson would be. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. That offensive line has gotten a lot better. You bring in Tyler Linderbaum. You still have Colton Miller. You still have Jackson Powers Johnson. You still have Dylan Parham. You've got a pretty offensive line as far as I'm concerned. And you've got a lot of picks and a pretty draft as well. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm the Raiders, again, you've done really well in the offseason. You picked up Nakobe Dean. You picked up Teron Johnson. You picked up Kwity Paye. You picked up quite a few defensive free agents that I think are going to make an instant impact on this defense. And Quay Walker, even from the Packers. And, you've got Jonty. You've got Bowers. You don't really have any wide receivers, honestly, at all. You've got an okay offensive line, a pretty good offensive line. And you've got Kirk Cousins, who is a veteran, who is, he's 35, 36, but really his playing age, because he actually didn't really play for 3 years and got late. And he was also a late senior. He's probably been playing for about 10 years. I mean, he keeps in good shape. He's in good shape. He's very smart. He knows how to run. He knows how to run offense. I don't think the Raiders' offense is particularly difficult. Yeah, I mean, if I'm the Raiders, I absolutely trade this pick, and I get probably either the 8th to the 11th pick, something like that, which you can easily get Jordan Tyson at. I get maybe another second rounder, maybe another player, and maybe a fourth rounder, and then you're set. So it's a deep draft. I think that they should trade Mendoza. I think Cousins would be fine with that offense. Is he going to be amazing? Maybe. I mean, he's had some pretty good years, and they do have some talent on that team. So yeah, you're totally right, but you're wrong as far as I don't think they should draft R.L. Reese at 1. I don't think they should draft Sonny Styles at 1. I don't think they should draft Jeremiah Love at 1. I don't think they should draft anybody at 1. I think they should trade that pick, draft Jordan Tyson at wide receiver, and then add to your offensive line, add to your defensive line, and add to your receiving core. That's what I would do if I'm the Raiders.
All right, let me throw this at you because you mentioned Carson Beck. Couldn't you also say that what they need in Vegas is a guy like Mendoza who's a nerd, who is not a womanizer, who goes to church, who doesn't drink, whereas Beck, it seems like he wouldn't be able to resist all the baubles and bright lights and vices. I mean, maybe Mendoza is a good choice for a town like Vegas since he's such a do-gooder.
Right, sure. You could take that approach, absolutely. But I still think that Las Vegas is an entirely different breed. The town is very involved in everything. The players are constantly invited to certain functions. The media is heavily involved as well. I just think Mendoza is going to get eaten alive, personally, and I really don't think he's that good. So you've got multiple things there, and again, the Raiders are in a unique spot because they've done such a good job in the offseason. Even Cousins, that deal that he's got, that's a pretty good deal for the Raiders considering the circumstance, considering his experience and his skill level. So, but yeah, you could look at it like that on the flip side and say that Mendoza wouldn't get in trouble based on what's around there. But I still think that guy like a Carson Beck, he's won everywhere he's been. He won 2 championships at Georgia. He took him to the championship game. He absolutely just threw laser beams in his pro day. I'm talking 70 yards consistently 2 or 3 times. He's 6'4", 230 pounds. I don't think he's an idiot. Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect chance again. Trade the pick, pick up Beck, pick up Tyson, add, use your other picks to keep adding to your squad. And I think the Raiders actually become a bit of a I mean, not formidable, but I think they become an actual player in their division and possibly the entire AFC.
All right, let me ask you this. Now, this is a little bit political, but in the state of Florida, they want to ban the Rooney Rule. There are 3 NFL teams in Florida, of course, and they would be subject to state law. And as we know, the Rooney Rule, 25 years in, it's no a quota, like we just had 10 jobs open and not one black guy was hired. It's just saying you have to bring in one into an interview. Goodell says that the Rooney Rule is not going anywhere, but it's going to be up to the state of Florida. What do you think about that?
I think it should be on a state-by-state basis. I mean, if a team wants to pick up somebody as their coach, and maybe that person is black or is Hispanic or is a minority, that doesn't just mean that it's always a white guy. But I think if a team feels really good about a coach and they want to hire him, just let them do it. I mean, and I think that you're just organically at this point, you're going to have plenty of black candidates there. At this point, I mean, it seems like the league is kind of holding the hand of these prospective black coaches. Like I don't think that special treatment, so to speak, is super necessary at this point. Again, I think that there's been black coaches that have been successful in the NFL. I think that there's certain characteristics that certain coaches have that other coaches don't have, and I think that ownership is smart enough to recognize that. So, I mean, do I have a problem with the Rooney Rule? No, but I have a problem with it being a state-by-state basis thing.
All right, fair enough. Last question for you. Puka Nacua is in rehab, and of course he has apparently allegedly bitten the back of a woman, and there was some anti-Semitic stuff. There was some anti-ref stuff. We know he likes to party. He's been on this show. I thought he was, he's a very charming, funny guy, and he also is an absolute monster on the field. Your
monster,
absolute monster, arguably the best wide receiver in football. So, what are your thoughts about him going through this? And I mean, this can only be a good thing for him because it seemed like he was getting a little out of control.
Honestly, there seems to be a consistent pattern when certain people say certain things about certain demographics, that certain things happen to them, and that seems to be what's happening here. Puka Nacua has had arguably the best 2 or 3 first years in the history of the NFL for a wide receiver. I mean, statistically, but just the dominance that he's shown on the field. I think he went on Aiden Ross's podcast and talked about the money not being good enough. Yeah. And Aiden was like, do this gesture, did this gesture. I mean, there's just people who speak out against certain things are consistent in a specific way. And there's a Kanye West element to what happened to Puka Nacua. That's what I'll say.
All right, J.D. Sharp, Pro Wagering, and he has opinions, and he backs them up with mostly winners. Go to Sharp at betmypicks.com. Let him know your thoughts, and he'll give you, once again, Sharp at betmypicks.com. J.D., good man. Thanks for coming by.
You bet. Thanks, Rick.
All right, I'm Rick Tittle. Let's take a break. We will come back with some open lines at 1-800-878.
Tell me who's watching. Who's watching me? I always feel like somebody's watching me, and I have no privacy. I always feel like somebody's watching me. Tell me, is it just a dream? When I come home at night, I roll the door.
Hello, Americans. It's Uncle Sam here. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes to the IRS or state, don't worry. I've got important news that may help you negotiate a lower tax bill. In today's economy, the IRS has released a variety of new rules and is offering more flexible terms to help Americans looking to settle their IRS debt. If you apply today, we may be able to lift your wage garnishment, release a freeze on your bank assets or business. Our team of tax professionals can resolve your case and stop collection actions against you. Even if you've been audited or haven't filed a return in years, they can help. Call right now and find out if you qualify to settle your IRS debt for far less than you owe. Pick up your phone right now and call us for a free $500 IRS tax review. Don't wait. Here's the number.
Call right now. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. 800-943-9215. Again, for the last time, that's 800-943-9215.
I've got a question for you. Do you want a lower car payment just by making a phone call? You know, most people buy a car and they pay whatever the car dealer says their interest rate is, and they forget about it and make payments. But did you know there is a secret in your contract that allows another company to refinance any car payment to try and lower it? It's true. There is indeed a company out there that knows the ins and, more importantly, the outs on car loans. and they know how to lower your current car payments. It's easy and fast. You could have a lower car payment next month. Make this free call right now and find out if you could lower your existing car payment. Call Car Savings Hotline right now. The call is free.
Now, 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. 800-605-1680. That's 800-605-1680. Packages start at $29.99 a month with signed agreement. Restrictions apply. Speak to a for complete offer details. See .com for license details. Terms and conditions apply.
Homeowners, if you're looking for the best in home security and home technology at a price you can actually afford, we have great news. Now you can get award-winning home security systems starting at about $1 a day. U.S. News and World Report has recognized Vivint as the best professionally installed home security system of 2022. And right now, you can get Vivint's home security technology for about $1 a day. Plus, get free professional installation from a licensed technician. Protect your home and loved ones for as low as $1 a day. Call right now for your free home security consultation.
800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. 800-918-6189. That's 800-918-6189.
I'm going to give you to the count of 10 to get your ugly, yellow, no good keister off my property.
Thinking about calling Tittle, put down that phone. Shut your ugly face.
Wow, that's aggro. Lines are available. 1-800-878-PLAY. Dominic Jimenez is poised like Cobra to pick up that phone and put you on the air at 1-800-878-PLAY. Let's go to Florida. Mario is on the horn. What you got, Mario?
I had assumed the World Cup qualifiers were over. I had assumed Italy was in. And much to my surprise, Italy was eliminated by Turkey, and I cannot believe what that country must be going through right now.
They were actually eliminated by Bosnia and Herzegovina, even worse.
Bosnia, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bosnia. I'm taking you off speaker. I don't need you on speaker right now. I'm going to move you off. I don't know how to do it. Okay, very good. Hear me?
Yeah, you sound better.
Excellent, thank you.
Whenever you're on speaker, you're wrong.
I'll keep that in mind forever and ever and ever. And what did you think of that? I'm just curious.
Well, I mean, it's crazy because, yeah, I mean, if you're our age, you know what the Azzurri have done, and we've seen them win World Cups. And, in fact, we saw them win the Euros in 2020, but contrive to a World Cup that has Haiti and New Caledonia and Cape Verde, that you can't get past North Macedonia last time. And the guy who hit the last penalty in the shootout from Appleton, Wisconsin, I mean, you can't get by those. You know what? There was a guy who I mentioned this earlier in the show. There was a guy who pointed out that Italy does not have one world-class outfield player, and he's right. I went through the whole lineup. They used to have 5 or 6. They don't have. I mean, Donnarumma is a great goalie. They don't have one really good player, which is weird.
I'm not sure they have one really good offensive player. When was the last time they had a guy that you would put on the final 11? I guess it was Baggio, and that was in the late 90s, right?
Well, I mean, there were guys like even Chiesa, I thought was good. Totti and Chiellini and Maldini. I mean, they had some guys, but you don't have to go back as far as Baggio. But it's just amazing to me that they don't what they've been saying now. The older guys, the guys our age, are saying all you guys do is care about social media and your cash, and you don't care about the game. And, you know, this is what they're saying about the American team, too. So it's like, you know, we're yelling at clouds.
Yeah. But we actually, we don't have sort of the tradition that Italy does, where they were a constant. You know, listen, if we got the automatic, right, so no big deal, and maybe some of not playing well was maybe some tinkering with the lineup, I don't know. But everybody that they told, every American player they told is going to be a big-time impact guy for the United States team hasn't shown. in any of the friendlies I've seen or any of the honest to God qualifiers that I've seen. I haven't seen it. I don't think we're going to get out of the group. Turkey's in the group now, right?
Yeah, no, we're not getting out of the group.
That's where I got Turkey from. You don't think we're getting out of the group either?
No, not with Matt Turner or Matt Freeze. And then you got Tim Ream, who's older than my butt. I mean, no.
I haven't heard that in a long time. I don't think I've heard since the Chrissy forgot where she put the rent episode and Mr. Foley came knocking. Older than my butt episode.
Wow, good knowledge. How about changing?
Yeah.
And Mr. Furley changed too because it was Norman Fell, and then it went to
Ropers and Audra
the
Lindley.
Ropers,
Yeah,
and then it went to Don Knotts. Yeah.
Do you remember the intermediate transition season where they brought what we would now call a cougar, Ann Wedgeworth, into the apartment complex who preyed on a Jack Tripper? Do you remember that season?
If I saw her face, I don't know her by name, but I'm sure I'd remember.
Yeah. Yeah, we call her a cougar now. She was probably half my age, or 2/3 of my age. It's sort of like I saw a thing.
Really?
I saw a thing on on the internet where you when you're a kid in 1960 whatever, you see Mrs. Howell and you think, oh, that lady's 100 years old. Then you get a little old and you realize it's a solid third option, huh?
I saw a tweet that had the Golden Girls, and it said, "These women used to look 100. Now I date 2 of them."
Yeah.
By
I
the
don't know
way,
what you do. That's up to your own personal taste.
I know.
I understand it.
I think I was calling it the curse of Marco Materazzi. Going to extra time against France and headbutting Zidane and then losing. But if you just look at that last team, they had Buffon as the goalie, he resigned 1 minute after they lost. But I mentioned in the back.
That.
Yeah, with Keely, you had Andrea Pirlo pulling the strings with Daniele De Rossi and Aquilani up front. You had
Is Maldoni still on that team?
Yeah. You had Immobile. I used to call him the immobile one. Inzaghi, Balotelli, the guy.
Balotelli was on that team. That's right. Yeah,
African heritage. Bonucci is the center half. I mean, this is after the age of Nesta and Maldini and who's the old guy? He looked like Harvey Keitel. But anyway, those.
Yeah, he was the left back, wasn't he?
He was. He was there for it. But anyway, it's just amazing to me as I was going down the lineup. I mean, you have the guy who scored the goal against Bosnia, Moise Kean, is an Everton reject. You got Caliafori, who plays now and then for Arsenal. It's just crazy they don't have any stars.
Yeah, the roster's littered with guys in La Liga, in the Premier EPL, everywhere you go, right? Serie A, everywhere you go, these guys are there, and yet they can't get out. That's astounding to me. As soon as you said old player, I knew he's not Italian. Oldest guy, I thought, even though he probably was not chronologically the oldest, anytime Dugard is on the field for Brazil, I always thought, this gives me hope.
Yeah.
Because he's 60.
Wait,
I should probably take up the sport now.
Franco Baresi, that was his name. That's who I'm thinking
Franco
of.
Baresi, yeah.
Yeah, but Dunga had that Sergeant Carter hair, and
he sure did.
And I used to call him because do you remember in Caddyshack when he was holding Bill Murray was holding that kid with the what's it called, not the trident, what the whole thing is, a hay baler. What are those things called where you bale?
Yeah. Pitchfork.
Pitchfork. Thank you. And he said he told me Dunga Lagunga, and I'll have inner peace. So I used to call him Dunga Lagunga. Yeah, you get. I don't know.
That's funny. Yeah. That reminds me. I wrote one year. Every time I just really remember this guy was a fantastic player, Kaká.
Yeah.
From Brazil, right? Of course, we're all still 11 years old, no matter how old you are.
Oh, yeah.
So every time he would even make a pass, I would say, Kaká on the ball, yuck. And I swear to God, that is the closest to divorce I have ever been in my life.
Wow.
That's not quite true. Because Zidane, without a shadow of a doubt, is my favorite World Cup tournament player. Nobody else is close to me. He was just so brilliant. And if he had managed to control his temper and not be goaded into a headbutt, I think they would have won that year, too.
Yeah.
But every time he touched the ball, I would scream at the top of my lungs, Zidane! And I'm kind of doing that now with Mbappe, but I think my divorce I just had my 25th year anniversary, so she's not going to divorce me now. But at least we'll have less marital strife, because I think the games will be at a time when she's working over the summer. So I won't be able to yell, Mbappe! as loud as I can. I always pick one guy, to be the focal point of my yelling.
Sure.
And do you think France can be beat?
Oh yeah, I think they can be. By the way, I'll tell you a quick.
Really?
I'll tell you. Yeah, sure. I think I'll tell you a quick Kaká story. So almost every Brazilian player is from the favelas, and Kaká was a rich kid, and I mean really rich, and he also was super handsome. So they all.
Oh yeah, that was yeah.
Yeah,
that
they
was
all
apparent.
hated him because he was really good looking and he was rich, and so he had to prove that he was one of the guys, and it was hard for him, but he finally got accepted.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I can imagine the really good looking part. I can't imagine the rich.
Yeah. Oh, you mean personally?
Yeah, I'm having my trouble wrapping my mind around the rich part.
Yeah.
But the strikingly handsome part, that's easy. But yeah, it must have been hard. I mean, because listen, very few of these countries are putting a team out there that you go, oh, well, this is like the lacrosse team at Yale. This is not a privileged group of guys, right?
By the
and
way,
if you're a Yale lacrosse player listening to me now, please don't take offense.
did you hear last hour I interviewed a guy who wrote a book about marathons, and we talked about Prefontaine and all that?
No kidding. Who was it?
His name was Martin Dugard.
Class. Oh, Martin Dugard. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's called The
Yeah,
Long
Prefontaine
Run.
is
I'll
the
send
guy
it
that-
over with some more Masai Barefoot technology shoes.
That'd be awesome. How much time do I have? 0?
No, you got a minute.
So I'm glad to see that you're not a runner anymore because of something or the other, right? You told me you're not doing that anymore, yeah?
I walk and hike now, yeah.
Yeah. Did you, okay? So you found a substitute. Listen, no matter how you do it, it's for you're a sort of a thicker fella, so you're probably burning about 140, 150 calories a mile, and you burn that 140, 150 if you walk or run. So it doesn't matter how you do it, right?
Okay.
The caloric expenditure is the same. So if you're out there climbing hills and getting your heart rate up, what is it? You know your resting heart rate, Tittle?
No, I don't get into all that nerd stuff.
Oh, we got the Tour de France coming up. Now that I think about heart rates, that's only a couple of months away, huh?
Now, what foreign country are they going to be in this time?
I don't know. I haven't seen the route yet. I normally, back in the old days, I would start collecting cycling magazines about a month before and previewing the routes and planning my mornings. And I'd be in a betting pool of who would win that day in the sprinting stages and the flats, and then the overall GC on any particular day. But yeah, it all fell apart.
I'll leave you with this. Martin Dugard was talking about the first ever New York City Marathon in 1970. It only had 175 people. It was 4 laps around Park Avenue, and one woman participated. She quit halfway, and only 55 people finished.
Wow.
Yeah.
My goodness, it's tens of thousands now, and the vast majority of them cross the line.
Yeah. All right, you've really crossed the line today.
Mayhem, big city mayhem. All right, Rick, later.
All right, as Ford said to New York, go to hell. Sorry, I had to throw that in. For the call. Is he still there? Oh, great. I left him with go to hell. Yeah. Why anyone would want to run 26.2, is that what it is? 26.2 miles. You got to be out of your G-damn mind. All right, come on back. We'll talk Synchro 9. What is that? We'll find out together.
I'm holding in my hand the American Silver Eagle dollar. It's a beautiful piece of American history, and it's 1 ounce of silver. Originally minted in 1986, these coins are a beautiful classic piece of American history, and they're a great investment you should add to your portfolio. The beauty of silver is that however much you have available to invest, silver is affordable and easy to acquire, with one coin costing around $30. So, if you choose to invest a few thousand in silver, you can get quite a bit for your money, and you'll have a tangible asset that you can hold, one you can be proud to own. Claim your piece of American history with American Silver Eagle dollars. Call the Silver Hotline right now.
800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. 800-620-1624. That's 800-620-1624.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
Special alert for consumers struggling to pay taxes. There are new tax regulations, not published yet. We have the inside track on your new tax savings. These programs are designed to help struggling taxpayers like you. The COVID relief programs are gone, but there are new programs to help struggling taxpayers, and we have the inside track. Call now, and we'll take you through these new programs. These taxpayer savings programs have never been available until now. Get out of tax trouble now. It doesn't take weeks. It can happen in one phone call. Call now and get the inside track to get rid of your tax problems.
Call the tax helpline now. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. 800-949-0039. That's 800-949-0039.
And by the way, can I just say, Rick, that Rick Tittle is one of the great names of all time.
Don't be getting your granny panties all in a bunch. We got Rick Tittle up in here.
Thanks for that. Welcome back to the show. Rick Tittle with you coast to coast and around the world on the American Forces Radio Network. There is a new figure skating discipline called Synchro 9. And you know, synchronized swimming. Well, this is on the ice. It's 9 skaters. And this has been officially approved by the International Skating Union just last year. It's an innovative, competitive category. It's designed to elevate the discipline, expand the global reach, and strengthen its pathway towards an Olympic future. And the Valtellini. Joining us on the line to talk about that is the longtime U.S. figure skating official and international judge, Wendy Enzmann. Wendy, this is very interesting, very exciting. Tell us a little bit more about how this all got off the ground, because we're still in the early stages, aren't we?
Hi, Rick. Yes, you are exactly right. Very early stages, very exciting for the synchronized community with the inclusion of Synchro 9 in the Winter Youth Olympic Games. This is an opportunity for this discipline to really showcase what they can do in the next couple years with the hopeful inclusion into the Olympic Games in the future. So it'll be exciting to see where this goes.
Well, now there are a lot of Olympic sports that aren't telegenic, let's just say. They don't bring big numbers. This seems like something that the public would really eat up, which does not hurt your sport, does it?
No, and that's exactly what I believe the ISU and the IOC are trying to accomplish with this. Synchronized skating has developed over a long period of time, including starting with numbers up as high as, 32 when I skated on the Hayden nets. It is now typically skated with 16 skaters, and a few years ago they introduced a synchro, an Elite 12 category. But they still have found challenges trying to make it, visibly pleasing on television. So the idea is to try to create a smaller team, but with a whole different format and look, where it's going to be fast, exciting, possibly even a whole different look of how competitions will be managed and handled. There's really no written about this yet. It's not published. I know they're still in the developmental stages, but it's going to be really cool to see where this goes.
And I guess as a former judge, you guys have to figure out what the judging system would be, right?
Yeah, I am a judge. I'm an official. I'm an Olympic and level official in singles and pairs and synchronized skating currently. But the Synchro 9, they're going to be training some judges on what that looks like. There's opportunity to watch it at the Synchronized World Championships. There's going to be an exhibition of 3 teams that will display this. They also had one that performed at the gala at the World Championships last week in Prague with former synchronized athletes from Finland. So that's some early look at what Synchro 9 might look like. Who knows? It's going to be interesting to see where this goes.
By the way, just as an aside, because she's from my hometown and we're both American, how big a smile on your face did you have when you were watching Alyssa Liu?
Yeah, what a story that is. What a fantastic adventure she has had. She's had such great success, not only as a young athlete before she retired, basically, and then came back 2 years later to walk away with not just the World Championships in 2025, but the Olympics as well in 2026. And that is the story of exactly what I think young athletes today should be focusing on, and that's, their mental health and doing what they do for the joy of doing it. Honestly, I think it's a fantastic story, and I'm so happy for her.
Just some overall as a judge, because I remember in the Cold War, the Eastern Europeans, the Soviets, the judges are partial, and when Tanya Harding's lace broke and she cried, I need to start over. I remember Debbie Thomas from Stanford, like she fell down 50 times, she still got the bronze. I mean, it's a crazy it's a crazy world being a judge. What is that like?
Well, we are to judge what we see on that day. And the judging system has changed a lot since the Tanya Harding and Debbie Thomas days. We went from the 6-0 system to the current system of IJS, we call it, or the International Judging System, where we have technical panels that look at the technical elements and give them a value or call them according to what is executed. And then as a judge, the judges judge the quality. So it's a much different system and gives the idea that, there is merit based on every element has a value. So it's a point system now instead of a comparison system. But moving forward, at least with the Synchro 9, at least the early communications kind of changed even what the judging would be for this discipline into something a little bit different, which, like I said, there's not really a lot of information out there yet, but it will be coming soon. But it will go into a whole different kind of look and feel, where it looks like they're thinking about rebooting this type of judging system to make it more clear, intuitive, more creativity will be evaluated, just sort of like maybe even a knockout structure with a head-to-head competition but battle format. Who knows? Who knows where we're going in the direction, but I think it's going to be exciting, at least for some audiences to sort of maybe watch what this could look like.
All right. This is maybe a naive question, but why 9? Why is it at 7 or 10 or 6? Why is 9 the right amount of skaters?
Yeah, I have absolutely no no answer for you on the Y9. They've done 12. They've done 16. Prior to 16, it was 20. And prior to that, it was 24. And prior to that, it was 32.
Jeez.
So, yeah, it's kind of gotten smaller. I think a lot of people are asking the same question, why 9? I really don't have any good answer for you on that. And maybe it really is just maybe the way they think visually it could be televised, but still give it enough of a team feel with the way that they can maybe do formations.
Let's talk about your Masters Academy International. Very impressive name, very impressive school, because if anyone's listening and they want to try this out, they need to go to Massachusetts to your academy, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we are fielding a Synchro 9 team, at least one. We'll see what the interest is and maybe even field a few more teams. But, yeah, we decided our Masters Academy International, MAI, is what we refer to, is they decided to offer Synchro 9 as a team sport figure skating program once the announcement came out for the Youth Olympics in 2028. Adding this in the figure skating program to offer the student athletes who are interested in pursuing Synchro 9 without having to sacrifice school, managing those schedules and their skating schedules, because MAI offers everything in-house. The blended schedule, the opportunity to train in an environment where the students will have access to all things that are needed for top athletics across, the fields, from nutrition to sports psychology to physical therapy to, access to high-level academics as well as high-level coaching staff as well. It's just incredible what they're building over there. The campus is coming together quite nicely, and we're opening on September 15th. So we're doing tryouts for the Synchro 9 team on May 2nd. So we will see what this looks like, but I'm excited to, be part of the figure skating program as a director and offering this opportunity for those skaters who might be interested in pursuing this.
One more question for you, and it's about the former United States ambassador to Belize. If people didn't know that, it was Michelle Kwan, who was the most decorated skater we've ever had, a 5-time world champion. And I know you know her. Of course, she did not get the gold. And so is it easily to say our greatest ever figure skater who did not get a gold medal?
Michelle is iconic. Well, as of right now, at the time they didn't have a team sport, and yeah, she's such an icon in figure skating. Most people think that she won an Olympic gold, even though the year that she didn't, she wasn't, unfortunately. Yes, I know her. I was her team leader back in 2001, 2002, 3, 4, 5, that era. And she's a phenomenal person, is such a great ambassador for the sport, always has been, and such a champion. And I really believe that's why she's so iconic and so well remembered, is how she was as an athlete and so professional in everything that she did. Ambassador to the sport and to her country as well. Everyone, check out mastersacademyinternational.com. Find out more about Synchro 9. Maybe make the U.S. team and contact our guest, Wendy Enzmann, Enzmann. Wendy, good stuff. Thanks for coming on. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, I'm Rick Tittle. Come on back on Sports Spotlight.
Hey, airline travelers, Let's say you have a problem and you need to change or cancel an existing airline reservation. What do? Well, Skywatch is a free service that can help anyone with any airline reservation fix it. Whether you want to cancel it, change your dates, or add passengers, we can help fix your airline reservations so you get exactly what you need. We've updated our computer database and now have access to every airline around the globe. So now you can make one phone call regardless of who booked your airline tickets, and we'll change it, cancel it, and fix it for you. We know the insider secrets to fixing reservations that the airlines don't want you to know about. So if you need to cancel, change, or modify an existing airline reservation, call Skywatch right now. It's a free call, so let us fix it for you. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. 855-325-5647. That's 855-325-5647.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
I am an American veteran. I'm proud to have served this country. Helping veterans is something all Americans can participate in, and it's as simple as donating an old car that you have sitting around. When you call the Veteran Car Donation Program, they'll explain how their program works, and then arrange a time they can come and pick up your vehicle for free. Running or not, it doesn't matter. They take cars, trucks, motorcycles, or vans. Show your support by donating your car and get a tax deduction in the process. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program right now. They'll come and pick your car up for free, and you'll get a tax deduction in the process. Call the number we're about to give you right now. Thank you, and God bless America.
800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. 800-887-1097. That's 800-887-1097.
You think this is a humorous occasion? You are mistaken.
Take the party over there, it ain't no job. It's live.